Yes, here we go. It is the P.M.P. The P.M.P. is back after a wee bit of an absence. Terry Robb joins us as well, just to quell any rumours that we'd fell out. It's not true. When did we fall in? But no, Terry, it's good to be back on the old post-match shows. Maybe we've not done it in
Let's get the trophies and all in. Well, let's get the
camera.
trophies in when we've had them for the last part.
That's the problem, mate. That's
I'll sort it now.
Aye, good. Yes, but I think that was 3 games that we missed, so it's good to be back on with you, Terry. How are you, mate?
I'm good, Bhoycie. I'm just checking out. I've got a new wee bottle here. It just took my eye in Tesco, so nice. Just the visuals were good. So I seen the wee Ukraine flag, and that immediately drew me towards it because you're sympathetic. And then I just looked. It said Nemirov Deluxe Vog Premium 11 stages of filtration. That immediately got my attention. And then it said Ukraine 40% volume, 1 litre, and it was about 13 quid. So I just said, fuck it, I'll get that one.
Right.
So that's just waiting there. There's probably a measure and a half left in this. So as long as the show's going well, we'll get the optic flowing and we'll get on to the new Ukrainian stuff. And then we're ticking all the boxes. But how did you enjoy your trip to the match the other night? Because
it was all right, mate.
I describe that as big time Charlie sort of behaviour, where you just turn up for the fucking big Champions League knockout games kind of thing.
That's exactly what it was, mate. Exactly.
Was it like Bhoycie from the telly? It seemed electric, man. Yeah. You must have been impressed.
It was. The atmosphere was amazing. Like before the game, then see when the first goal went, like there's 3 rows in front of you and stuff, like falling down, like in front of the chairs.
30 seconds. Madness. On the 30 seconds.
Yeah, 30 seconds, man. It was that was crazy. And then, if I'm honest, in the area I was sitting, I had a really, really good seat. And the area I was sitting, I felt a nervousness throughout the game until the last 20 minutes when we came back into it. But yeah, I wasn't very vocal myself. I was kind of just sitting, like, watching it with the hands up at the mouth. So it was cold as well. But
see, I'd be the same when I go to games. I'm quite quiet. I'm trying to take it all in because obviously I don't get very often, and I'm trying to soak it up. But genuinely, like I'm coming 48, and when I walk up them steps to go to a game once or twice a season now, I mean, when I was a bit younger with no responsibilities, I probably was going 6, 7, 8 times, and that was still. But every single time I walk up them steps, as soon as you see the pitch, it's just like the first time all over again for me. And I don't know if it feels like that for people that go every week, but when I get over it, it just feels like it every time you just see the pitch, and you just want to soak it all up and take it all up.
Yeah.
I'm not the most vocal at matches myself. I want to look around and see what other sections are doing. I want to focus on what's happening on the pitch. I want to try and see what's happening in the dugout. And I was delighted when I heard you got a ticket for that. And I know the result didn't go our way, but I'm pretty sure it was a good experience for you.
No, it definitely was. I mean, it was the first time I'd be at a Champions League game. Long time. I think the last European game I'd been to was we'd got the 3 tickets, me and the ex-missus at the time, like for the Brendan Rodgers first spell, when I think it was a 3-match package for the Europa League. That was a sort of, so it'd been a while since I'd been there, but no, it was good, man. It was good. I like all the lead up to it as well, like nicked into like the hoops bar on the way up and stuff, and like.
Well, there was a wee bit missing. There was a wee bit missing from the lead up, but we'll not go into that too much.
Oh well, I've had my say on that. Let's be real. Our
favourite singer didn't appear on the pitch, but sure about it.
Right, we love Liam. We love Big Liam. Right, okay. Terry, a lot to catch up on. This should really be called catch up pished, because I think that'll be maybe the case for yourself.
Yes, I think that's more than fair.
No judging from me, by the way. No judging from me. You know,
I think that's more than fair. I'm a few shades to the wind. I got an opportunity, and I wasn't even planning on going out today or anything. And I had it put on a plate for me to go out with the wife driving, so I just took advantage of it. And there we go. We're here, and we'll just get on with it.
We've always got news on the bus, so obviously, Terry, I mean, it looks like I'm just on the camera, mate, being all bravado and that. But see, behind the scenes, mate, I'm working on a transfer strategy for us. I'm already thinking of the summer window. And Big Joe Swift is in the club.
Where am I going? Who am I moving to?
No, we're keeping you. We're keeping you for some reason.
My contract running down.
You're in a long-term. Nah, you're on a long-term deal. I don't know why. I must have been drunk when I first gave you.
Honest to God, see if you'd let me down today after I've counted up all the times you'd let me down over the season, and I was starting to think, where do I stand here contractually? Because there's a lot of pods out there that are looking for an absolute fucking drunken arsehole. And
mate.
Do you know what I mean?
That phone never stops with people wanting you on it, mate. Honestly, I'm like, you're off your fucking head. But not only that, but Joe Swift is in the comments. Look out for that name because he's going to be joining us for the summer onwards as
brilliant.
well. He plays football himself, so he's going to be able to bring us some sort of insight into more the tactical side of stuff.
Is it quick?
Joe Swift, his favourite word's velocity. Right, anyway, Terry, as I say, it is a bit of a catch up on the last week while post-match pish show, right? So we're gonna scroll back a wee bit as well. I mean, today, first and foremost, I'll get out the road. I was absolutely buzzing with the level of intensity Celtic played at in the first half. I just think that attitude and application again is bang on the money this season. And yeah, Christmas time was difficult and things like this, but I tell you what, going after the Bayern game and getting yourself remotivated. I know every game you should be, but it's just human nature. You're not as up and at it all the time with a bit of a European hangover. Oh, the hangover's me and Terry get. But I think in this instance, we've seen a team that's just got the attitude application, as I say, is just bang on the money with this team right now. And when you're able to add guys like Jota to the starting 11 now who didn't start midweek, what are you up to, man?
Me?
What are you writing down? Yeah, you're fucking.
I just made a note. I made a mental note a week ago, and I wanted to give a shout out. I wanted to give a shout out to Jerry McCulloch because he gets a lot of stick, right?
Yeah, he does,
and he is full of shit. But who do we play last weekend? Whoever the fuck we played last weekend.
Rovers.
Jerry McCulloch. Jerry McCulloch. He made a comment, and honest to God, he gets so much stick. But I did actually laugh out loud. You know, like you get this. You just laugh. I just laughed out loud, and I thought, "Fuck, that is good." And he gets a lot of stick, and I think it's worth a shout out. So I'm giving a shout out to Jerry McCulloch. We're playing against Raith Rovers. There was a midfielder called Astley, and he was putting it.
I'm not sure if you're breaking up at my end or at your end, Terry.
Bhoycie.
I'm not sure whose streams went down here. Terry, you still there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. It just seems to have came back.
Are we live? Are we even live? You still said you had to do something to go live.
I've done all that, mate. I've done all that.
All right, listen. So Astley.
Yes.
So there's a midfielder called Astley, and he was putting it about, and Jerry McCulloch goes, Astley. He was firing himself about, and he goes, Astley. He's never going to give it up. Like I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was absolutely brilliant. I wrote it down, and then you told me you weren't coming on, so I couldn't get you set. So we'll give it to him now. I don't know what happened there with the old tech.
I don't know, man.
We went off. So that's Jerry McCulloch's shout out. You done your match during the week. We were looking at today's game. You were delighted with the intensity in the first half. Let's pick it up from there. Yeah,
well, I mean, I think that's the thing when you've got players like Jota who can come in now to that starting 11 and it almost improves it. Do you know what I mean? You know, Nicholas Kuhn and Maeda, when I think of how important they've been this season, to have this option of Jota now just in the mix of it all, I think it feels like...
How easily has he just settled back in, Russell?
I know, mate. I know, mate. And what I was thinking was, and this is the point I was going to raise to you, do you think it's a stronger 3 from 4? And that's how I see it. I think there's the front 3 that we go with. Do you think the options now are stronger with Jota as option number 4 or Kyogo? So we've got Nicholas Kuhn, Adam Ida, Maeda, Ida, Nicholas Kuhn, and Jota. I think that's a stronger 4 than when it was Kyogo instead of Jota.
My gut reaction is just, it doesn't answer your question because it just goes, we're stronger.
You don't want to answer it.
Because Kyogo's gone and fuck him, and I forgot about him. Did he ever exist? That's my thoughts. But when looking at it properly, I think that front four now is stronger. The front four now is stronger. Jota has just fit it back in seamlessly. And remember, this is Jota. And I know there's two arguments where there's one that people think he's just been locked in a room, like in isolation in jail for 18 months. And that's not the case. He's been training hard and all the rest, but he hasn't been playing an awful lot of matches. But you can see he's straight back into the groove. You can see already at whatever percentage fitness he's at, he's already adding value.
Yeah.
The difference is the guy in the middle. It's Kyogo versus Ida. And I think we felt it during the week there against Bayern, because I think Kyogo's pressing is just on a different level to Ida's. And that's not criticising Ida. His game is not the same. It's not based on the same energetic pressing, closing down. It's a totally different game. But when I looked at that game during the week, and I'm sure we will touch on it, and I'd like to touch on it because I'm kind of in the same position as was against Villa. I get that people are proud of the performance, and I'm proud of the effort, and I'm proud of what we did in the last 30 minutes. But I'm also extremely disappointed and extremely critical of the way we lost the 2 goals, in the same way as the Villa game, where I'm extremely critical of the way we lost 3 of the goals. Those 2 goals that we lost during the week were absolute fucking schoolboy negligence defending. And let's do that. Let's do that in a little bit. But the bit that you lose with Kyogo is the fucking pressing from the middle, from the front, because Ida doesn't do that. That's not his skill set.
No.
That's not what his game's based on. I don't think it's a coincidence that our best half hour, our best third of the game happened when Maeda went into the middle and Ida went off, because you then get a similar pressing game from Maeda through the middle that you get from Kyogo. And I think, and again, we'll probably touch on this when we're looking ahead to the second leg, I think if we're going to use Dyson Maeda as a centre forward, which the manager's been forced to do, his hand's been forced. He's made it clear he didn't want to do that. He made it clear he wanted another centre forward. The board didn't deliver on that. We've been left with Ida as the centre forward, Maeda as the next choice, and Johnny fucking Kenny as the backup. As the last resort, Johnny backup. Fuck me, Johnny Kenny as the last sort of one. This could actually fall in quite nicely, and it's totally unintentional because the board haven't a fucking clue about footballers.
I agree.
But to me, Dyson Maeda as centre forward, the ideal scenario to play him is in away Champions League games where you're defending loads. The other team have got their defensive line right on the halfway line, and you're playing balls down the channels or over the top for the fucking fastest player in the world to run onto. I think that is the scenario where Dyson Maeda as centre forward could be at his most dangerous. I think we'll struggle. And I know he's done well. I know he's done well in the couple of games that he's played domestically as centre forward, but I don't see his skill set as suiting him playing through the middle against two blocks of 4 and 4 or 4 and 5 or 5 and 5, whatever it is, because his main skill set is his pace and his aggression and his running in behind. And you're not going to get that when teams are sitting really deep. But I actually think when you're away from home in the Champions League against a better team, they're right up on the halfway line, Dyson Maeda through the middle is a fucking good option to have. And I think we've been forced
provided
into that.
Provided we go direct more often, I think, Terry. That's where I'm at. And I think there is still, I felt it midweek there was still a reluctance to play, not just even a brave pass, but sometimes a pass that's out with our textbook or definition of how we play. That might be a wee bit. I still think there is a weapon to be used there and getting it on someone who doesn't need to be hoofing it, as we've discussed a million times, just dinking balls into areas of space that are realistic for extremely nippy, fast players that love to get in behind to latch onto. I didn't feel we used that tool as much as I thought we might, because we did see a bit of it of late in recent fixtures, and I was a wee bit disappointed we didn't see it utilised more midweek. Do you not think that was maybe a missed opportunity as well? Now, Adam Ida's not going to be the guy to do that with up top. However, notwithstanding that, there was still Nicholas Kuhn in the park and Daiza Maeda in the first half. And by the way, see, just quickly on Ida, I thought some of his layoff play was excellent that first half and has went right under the radar. See, when the ball came up, he made it stick quite often. It might not be a spectacular pass, but he's allowed Celtic to come up 5-6 yards. And against this sort of team that hounds you, they've got this 10-second rule when they're out of possession, they want to win it back. Him being able to sort of use his physique back in and just a wee layoff to Callum, whatever it might be. I think there was quite a few occasions I felt watching the match anyway. I thought, decent, mate. Decent, tidy work there. Not spectacular, nothing flash, but something that you wouldn't get off a keel go up there. Maybe not Maeda either, do you know what I mean? Because it's not their game to be doing that. So I think he was more useful than he maybe got credit for in the European game. But then absolutely, as you rightfully point out, away from home in particular, the home side, when it's elite teams like Bayern, are going to be even higher and even more pressure on them to be applying pressure on us, if you know what I mean, from the expectant home fans. And therefore, there's going to be likely a higher backline than we very often play. And that has got to be then something we look to for sucker punch goals on. And that can be breaking with pace, but breaking with direct passes as well. What do you make of that?
My own personal opinion during the week, Russell, and we can probably draw a line under this part now, is I felt Bayern...
He's calling the shots tonight, guys, right? He's
that 30 seconds where we all just went mental and thought, fucking hell, what's going on here? I felt they were in total control. They played within themselves. It was like a boxing fight where they spent the first 2 or 3 rounds just trying to find out what their opponents had. And other than that disallowed goal, which was rightfully disallowed by Kuhn in 30 seconds, it was just a sparring match. And you just know when you're up against an absolute class outfit, and they are that. I think what happened, what we've seen in other European games, and if we try and flip this to maybe 2 years before in the Real Madrid game with Ange, the plaudits without points argument and all of that, we were very much in that game for 50, 55 minutes, and then did the Callum McGregor shot that hit the post. And then after that, we just got battered and we lost 3-0. This game was a bit different in that with that electric start for seconds, and I know you and me have had a bit of banter about the brilliant 60 seconds against Aston Villa, which I laughed at, and then the brilliant 60 seconds that we had the next week where we scored. But in this 60 seconds we scored, it was disallowed. But then it was just sparring. But I always felt they were dominating. They had the center of the ring. We were on the ropes. They were just fucking moving us about. And then, see, when they got the second goal, after that, I think the pressure was off Celtic, because at that stage, the tie was gone, the game was gone, and then the shackles came off. And then for that last half hour, we relaxed and we played football and we tried things. And lo and behold, we got results and we looked dangerous, and we got ourselves into a position where the tie's not dead. It's very, very much against us. It's not dead. We could have possibly got something more out of the home game. But I think it took that second goal for us to go, do you know what? Fuck this. Game plan's out the window. We're gone. We're fucking out of this. Let's just go and make the best of it. And then we had our best passage of play. The last half hour, we were very, very good. We were exciting. Even fucking Yang looked good when he came on. Everything looked good. And that's the difference in playing where the pressure's off, because the result's gone. In your head, we're out. It's all over. Let's just fucking go out there and express ourselves. And that's what the last half hour was like. But maybe in the Real Madrid game 2 years before, that last half hour was at the start And then we blew our load and we had nothing left. And we ended up getting beat 3-0 and you're fucking absolutely gone. So we've still got something to play for. Anybody that's heading out there for the second leg, you've got a little bit of hope to get you through it and all the rest. But I just think in terms of that game, I'm really disappointed with the way we conceded. I said it against Villa. I know you were in good form after the Villa game, and you thought there was so many positives. And I was kind of on the other fence where I thought I was disappointed. Not because we'd lost to Villa, but I was just disappointed with the way we conceded the goals. And I was really disappointed with the goals that we conceded during the week, because you've got the first one where Taylor's got rinsed. You can argue he was a bit unlucky because he got a foot in. But if Brendan has handed Greg Taylor the dossier that Brendan talked about first time round, where we give every player a booklet on his opponent and we tell him what his opponent's going to do when he's got the ball. Greg Taylor's dossier would have said, Mikel Olise plays on the right-hand side, very much left-footed, cuts inside 99.99% of the time and tries to get a shot away. That's what he done. And Greg Taylor couldn't get the fucking job done. And if you watch that clip back, if he had forced Michael Olise down the outside, there were 3 Celtic defenders in the middle against 1 striker, albeit it was Harry Kane. But that was a much more advantageous situation for us if he had forced Olise down on his weaker side, but he allowed him to come inside. Now, it's a wonderful finish. It's an absolutely fucking wonderful Champions League level finish. But Greg Taylor's dossier would have said, do not let him come inside. Do not let him get onto his left foot. Do not let him shoot from the edge of the box. And he allowed all of that to happen. Then the second goal, Harry Kane, one of the deadliest strikers in world football. He's standing at the back post, absolutely free. Not for the first time in the game, for the second time in the game, because the first time happened in the first half and he headed wide from a position exactly the same on the other side where the corner came in from the other angle, and he should have scored, but he hit it wide. What defence, what lineup decides that it's okay to leave one of the most dangerous strikers in world football free at the back post twice in the same game? You're just asking for trouble. Now, I get that Bayern Munich are on a totally different level, and I get that we were never, ever likely to get through the tie. And I get that people are proud of the last 30 minutes and the effort that Celtic put in and the fact that we're still in the tie and we only lost 2-1. But I'm fucking disappointed that we handed them 2 goals, because all of that good stuff that we've done then gets lost in those 2 moments of absolute amateurish defending. And I'll happily stand there and argue with anybody that says, oh, it's very difficult when you're playing players of this quality. It's fucking very difficult if you let them do the one thing that they're strong at. Mikel Olise cutting in on his left foot from the edge of the box and Harry Kane standing free on the edge of the 6-yard box. It's very easy if you let them do that.
No, of course it is, mate. Of course it is. I mean, I think that aspect of it, I mean, me and Matt were talking about it on Thursday. It was strange. I was corrected. It was Alistair Johnston that looked like was the closest to him, but let's be real, it didn't seem like there was a set strategy of, is this a completely...
Is this Kane from the corner?
Yeah, both the set pieces, mate.
It's the actual thing is, Bhoycie, it's hard to work out who was responsible for him. It wasn't Taylor. Taylor gets the blame because it happened on the left back position.
No, I said I was corrected on. I said I was corrected.
Yeah, Taylor had his man. It was hard to work out. And the thing about it is, Johnson actually had so many brilliant headed clearances from balls into the box. But you could be right. I don't know whose job it was, but whoever's job it was, they didn't do it. Yeah,
well, I think that's fair enough. See, just when we combine what we're talking about there with Taylor letting Olise inside, for example, that you mentioned. It was quite a long time you spoke for, Terry, so I'm just trying to remember everything you said, right?
Sorry about that.
That's all right. Only wind you up. Mate.
I'm trying to beat Mark Kearney's record of about 3 hours, 25 minutes.
Oh, brilliant. But when it was when there was the cut inside from Alessio Taylor, many will argue a better fullback. That doesn't happen to. So I want to combine it with today's game and what you've seen from the guy who did have the left back jersey, and that was Jeffrey Schlupp, who obviously came on. He came on midweek for Taylor as well. Taylor had a shocker midweek, let's be real. He passed the ball out about 4 times, I can remember, at least. I would say just out the park. Try to find wee spaces down the line that was just never a pass on. I think after today, I think there'll be a clamouring, and I can see it a lot in the chat. Alex 1967, for example, coming straight in. Schlupp must start Tuesday. Stephen Mitzi, I'm telling you now, Bhoycie, Schlupp has to start. I do think, based on 2 reasons, what we've seen from Schlupp so far, I've been pretty impressed with. I thought today was he's been gradually getting better and better. What we also need to remember is what we've seen from Taylor in the home leg against Bayern. And I think when you combine the two, Schlupp comes in on a bit of form right now with a different presence, a different profile about him to what Taylor does, and Taylor comes in the back of a shocker against Bayern. I think it does lean towards maybe Jeffrey getting the starting role. Do you see that happening, Terry? Because it is being advocated quite a lot in the chat right now.
No, I don't think so. I expect Taylor to start during the week. Yeah, I can hear you. We've been cutting in and out just a wee bit as you were speaking there, but I feel as if we're both on now. No, I expect Taylor to start again. I mean,
do you think that's fair?
Schlupp
he didn't play well, did he?
He looks, yeah. I think it's totally fair, Bhoycie. I think it's totally fair. This guy's been our best constant left back.
But he was crapping the last time we played him, and there's another option there. But he was crap against him. But it's not about legacy, though, is it? It's got to be based on where we're at right now. It can't be. He did well for 40 games under.
Based on right now, I still think it's Taylor. I mean,
crap against Bayern, though, no?
Yeah, but Schlupp's getting.
So we're playing Bayern again.
Huh?
We're playing Munich again. He was crap against them first time, and we've got a guy for the Premier League in the door. Surely,
yeah, but he's only in the door, Bhoycie. He's only in the door.
But he's another option.
No, I think he's obviously coming in on the wave of a new signing, and he's getting all the goodwill that a new signing gets. But he hasn't been fit perfect either. He looks fine, but I don't think he looks like an absolute obvious upgrade on Taylor. He's looked okay. He's getting the benefit of being not Greg Taylor. That's what he's getting. I mean, he hasn't been fit perfect by any means. I think he's well short. I think we're only seeing him at 60-70%. He's played a bit, but I think there's still 25, or I don't even know what percentage I said there, but whatever percentage was left over, that's what he's short. I still think he's a bit off. He's a bit off where he needs to be. I think he's getting the benefit of not being Greg Taylor. I mean, let's face it. We've had to bring Kieran Tierney back to replace Kieran Tierney because we couldn't get anybody else, despite 5 attempts, other than Greg Taylor. And Taylor is the fall guy for a lot of things, and he's not brilliant. He's not perfect. He's fucking far away off it. But I don't see a position where Jeffrey Schlupp comes in after.
I think he starts.
No, I don't see a way that he deserves to start after maybe 90 minutes in total between starts and bet games. I don't say that he's done anything that makes him better than Taylor. I genuinely don't. I think overall he probably is a better footballer, but I don't say that he's done enough in 2 weeks to replace a guy that's been first choice for 6 years. I don't see
the 6 years coming into it, if I'm honest with you, pal. I think you're going through legacy examples to strengthen the argument for Taylor, which aren't required.
But you're trying to win a Champions League game here that is
which he contributed
through. And you're going to bank your hopes on some guy that's come in after sitting on a bench for 6 months against somebody that's been playing constantly in your team for 6 years.
I genuinely think he'll go for slot. I think that's what will happen.
So see this new guy that you're bringing on the pod. So you've got a choice. You've got your biggest pod ever next week. Do you play him or do you play Phil McGinley? That's been your fucking bread and butter, your absolute rock for the last 6 years. Who do you do? Do you go for the new guy just because he's not McGinley?
I'll just go with whoever's on form, mate. Whoever's on form.
You just go whoever answers the fucking phone call.
It was in better form, mate.
No. Listen, I am far from Taylor's biggest fan, but I'm just trying to look at this logically. You've got a guy who knows the way we play. He knows what the manager wants. He's played under the manager. He's played under the manager twice. The manager likes him. And then you've got a guy that's come in. He's probably 25, 30% off his best. He's had a fucking couple of appearances. He looks okay. He looks brilliant. He looks athletic. You've got one game to fucking hang your hat on something that could be, it could be massive. Do you pick the one you trust, or do you pick the one you think might be better but hasn't really shown it yet? I go with the one you trust. But that's not me being a big Greg Taylor fan. My overriding feeling is I wish we got Tierney in and we were playing Tierney, but that's not there.
No, well, I get that, but I think you'll go for Slop anyway. That's just.
But have you not noticed when Sloop has played, he's played very similar to Tierney, or not Tierney, fucking Taylor. He's played similar, and he's come in and sat in that inverted role. But we then talked about how that was the manager accommodating Taylor because he was in the Postecoglou mode where that was the inverted fullback role. But I think Sloop has just been told to go and play the same way as Taylor has played. Because
a lot of underlapping sort of runs, underlapping when he does for the Jota goal today, wasn't there? He does sort of underlap, for want of a better term, sort of run.
But then Sloop did start as a left-hand sided midfielder. So I think that is probably natural. And I think there's probably something in there as to why he's been the guy that we've brought in. I don't think it's just by chance, albeit he's been on a list for 2 years and that list has been brought out of the bin the same way as the old list was brought out of the bin with all the same names on it. But I think there is some kind of logic with Sloop in that he was a midfielder who then became a winger / wing back / fullback. So I think there is actually a logic that he's been brought in to sort of deputise for Taylor because he has that skill set where he can play midfield, he can drop inside, he can go outside, he can go as a left back, he can go as a left winger. I definitely think there's a logic in his 6 months. It will be interesting to see, Bhoycie.
And there's a logic in him starting on Tuesday that you're just missing.
No, there is a logic. I do get it. But your question to me was, which one would I go with?
And your answer's wrong.
I didn't trust it. But I'm thinking ahead here. I'm doing a wee bit of foresight, and I'm thinking.
Oh, fuck.
I'm thinking a wee bit. Tierney obviously comes in for next year, but there's 30 games for the backup to play next season because Tierney won't play any more than 30, and it'll be interesting to see. The longer this goes on, it looks like Taylor won't stay, and the narrative would seem to be Taylor's looking something north of 25 a week to stay. Sloop's on about 60 a week. He's wrong side of 30. So there is a chance you could persuade him to stay if he falls in love with the club and everything else, but he's not going to drop from 60 to 25. So you have a scenario where Sloop might stay, but he wants 40. Taylor might stay, but he wants 25, 28. Do you miss out on both of them and go for another backup to Tierney, or do you keep one of those? And which one of those do you keep? Because do you keep the guy that's been there for 6 years and is...
Oh, if I hear that one more time, I swear to God, man.
Well, I've only said it once.
Oh, you've said it about 100 times, mate. Trust me.
I've only said it once. Sloop only signed 2 weeks ago, you fucking idiot.
You're 6 years point about Taylor, I mean.
Oh, the 6 years thing. But look at all the left backs. Look at all the left backs that have gone.
But I honestly think like the Schlupp's came to play for a contract at Celtic. That's what because his deal was up at Crystal Palace at the end of the season. So
My
he's
own
here to
personal
earn a
thoughts is
contract.
I would like him to be. I would like him to sign full time instead because I think he's a good player.
Yeah, I think he's an upgrade, and I think he'll play on Tuesday. We'll move on because that was good, Terry. I liked your thoughts on it all. It was a good.
Let's move on.
Hey, mate, you're in
long term. I would like to see Schlupp be the one. But I just think after 2 weeks against 6 years, I think it's very hard for that guy to commit.
What, mate? What's he done at European level in 6 years? You keep going on about 6 years. What has he done at European level in 6 years?
He's had good games, Bhoycie. He's
had a million chances at European level. Just took a guy from the toughest, most competitive league in the world, who's played there for the last decade. 6 years, double it, and that's how long Schlupp's played in the EPL, year in, year out. I'm okay with him playing in the Champions League.
He's been at the club 2 weeks. If we play on Tuesday night and Schlupp fucks one after 30 seconds and the whole thing's gone, everybody's going, what the fuck did he play him? He's only just fucking signed 2 weeks ago.
But that's life. That you can trust that in any position.
The difference between you and me is I try to have foresight, whereas you're just reactive. You just react to what you've seen, whereas I try to predict what I'm going to see and try to mitigate against what might happen.
You talk some shite, mate. But
if I keep drinking, no, listen, it's really simple. If I keep drinking this fucking bottle, I will get pissed. That's foresight. You just keep drinking the bottle and then you deal with the aftermath once you're pissed.
Oh,
right,
man.
Keep going.
It's a tough shift, ladies and gentlemen. It's a tough shift today. Fuck, you sign me up for this. I don't even know where it's going.
Cut. Take two.
Callum McGregor's goal today. What did you make of that?
What a fucking
Let's jump about a bit. He's on fire with the goal scoring this season, is he not?
It's my favourite player, Bhoycie. He's my favourite player in the club. Favourite player. Absolutely love him.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that finish again with him is, we've seen it so many times. The couple of wee sort of jinx, if you like, at the edge of the area, the wee dancing feet, and then bottom corners. How often is Callum McGregor's goal in the bottom corner? It's so often. He's always been, by the way, despite his goal reduction over a few seasons, I think he's always been a really good finisher, even since he was young and sort of burst on the scene under Dyla, and then Rodgers' first season in particular. He's always a tidy finisher. And I think for whatever reason this year, there's been either a responsibility he's took on with the Matt O'Reilly departure that we're going to step up the goals. I do think that's a Callum McGregor mentality thing where he's I'm reading the room here. I'm not stupid, I can count. Matt O'Reilly's goal contributions last year is going to be missed. I need to step up. Do you think that takes a nudge for the manager? Or do you think he's just doing it off his own back? Because he must be having more pops on goal than he was last year as well. He's in areas to score more often as well this season than what he has been in the most recent couple of years.
I say he's a very intelligent lad, and I know he's had bits of criticism. And do you know what? He is my favourite player of the last 10 years, absolutely genuinely. And even when Scott Brown was in the team,
absolutely genuinely.
Even with Scott Brown was in the team, though, I love Scott Brown, right? And I love his leadership qualities, but I thought Scott Brown was very, very limited in terms of ability. Like, see first touch and see the 5 and 10 yard passes. I've seen so many times where his first touch went out for a throw in and his 5 or 10 yard pass fucking went to the opposition or was out over the sideline. But his leadership qualities were unreal. But I seen something totally different in McGregor. And I know he's had criticism over the last couple of years. And do you know what? Some of it's justified because there have been games where he's gone missing. And see when the other team does put someone on him man to man and just tries to cancel him out, he does struggle. But I've also said on this show many, many times, that's a very easy role for an opposition player to play, where your only task is to stop that one player doing anything positive. You don't have to do anything creative yourself. You just go in and you just stop him doing anything. Stop him getting on the ball. Stop him having time. Stop him making the passes. Stop him being the cog that starts every Celtic attack. That's an easy job to do. And if a team forsakes one of their players to do that, he's going to struggle. Any player would struggle. You take the best player in the world and you put somebody on him man to man with his only task is to stop that guy doing anything positive. It's not an easy job, but it is a lot easier than asking a player to go and make the play and create something. It can be done. And McGregor's my favourite player over the last 10 years. And that goal today, I think you've sold him short a little bit. But not intentionally, because you've said he's moved the ball 2 or 3 times to get it into the right position to take a shot. I played it back a couple of extra times. He's actually had 6 or 7 touches. He's actually had 6 or 7
he
touches.
Wants an argument today, doesn't he? He is choking for an argument today, man. Fuck, unreal, this boy.
Look, sis. Thank you, James. No, he's had 6 or 7 touches, but do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the Luke McCown goal, which is one of my favourite goals of the season. Do you know that wee one where he just had 3 or 4 touches in really quick succession? And the original thought pattern was he didn't have to have those because he could just have shot first time and probably would have scored. But he had about 4 touches and moved it into about 3 degrees difference from where it was originally. But he then guaranteed the goal.
That's McGregor, right. Yeah, I remember it.
McGregor had about 6 or 7 touches. But all he done was, and I've written this word down in inverted commas on my sheet, he massaged the ball. He massaged the ball.
Oh my God.
He massaged the ball into the perfect position to guarantee the perfect outcome.
I'm clipping that, mate. I'm clipping that.
You're buying that. You're buying that, aren't you?
No, I'm clipping that comment up, mate. And just
he massaged it into the perfect position to give him the optimum opportunity for that ball to end up in the net. Callum McGregor is on 8 goals, Bhoycie. He's your number 6. He's your holding midfielder. He's your Makalele or Kante, who scores no goals this season, but looks brilliant, getting the ball off the centre backs, giving it to other players that can play. He's doing that role. He's scored 8 this season. We're only halfway through the season. Matt O'Reilly was involved in 37 goals. Callum McGregor has known that Rio Atate, Arnie Engels, Paulo Bernardo, Luke McCown, they'll all chip in, but we ain't going to meet that Matt O'Reilly number unless I fucking chip in here. Yeah. He's on target for 12 or 13 from this season.
Yeah, big Monsieur, Callum Monsieur McGregor. Massaged the ball in the corner. Get the fuck, mate. What you think, Hugh McIlvaney or something like that when you're writing this down now? You've took it too far, mate. Do you know what I mean? In there, half pished, like
Callum the masseuse.
Callum the masseuse that in the corner. Get the fuck, mate. Do you know what I mean? There's no way that is how you write things down on a bit of paper. You know what I mean? Big monsieur. He's a fucking swatch of that Smirnoff, sir. I'm telling you right now, that must be good stuff. Massaged it in. That's how I was exactly what I was thinking.
I'm going to this in the mirror very, very fucking shortly, so you better watch yourself.
Nah. No worries, mate. No worries. Jota gets the goal then as well. I know we've spoken about the front four, the strengths of it all. I mean, that goal is just a guy who is waltzed back in to this side, mate, and it's like he never was away. If anything, he's just a bit better looking again, which is probably annoying to a point. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to be as good looking as him. But that finish, man. And I think Schlupp does play a key role. I think Schlupp's an underlapping run. But he was looking for a ball to be massaged into him, but instead it was massaged into the corner by Jota. It's some finish, by the way. It was some finish, man. Again, I think when players come back, Terry, sometimes it can be busty card pish. When you see it in football, I don't just mean Celtic. Fuck yeah, I know it's you, mate. It's your own battle.
I'm just putting some oil on my hands here.
I bet you fucking are, mate. I bet you are, mate. Fuck it now. I think as long as the game finished with a happy ending, mate. Do you know what I mean? Fuck.
Fuck.
Fuck's it. Right. But Jota's goal. I don't know what I'm talking about, man. He curled it in the far corner. It was a brilliant finish. We were all happy. But he's coming back. I think he's came back almost with a movie star-like vibe about him. You know, a Hollywood signing that he feels, and I think he knows. Sometimes the best thing in a story is the comeback. But in football, that's what I'm saying. In football, sometimes I think it can be birthday card pish, mate, and you see it, and ultimately it's a bit of a letdown. I think in terms of getting a band back together, if you like, we've seen Rodgers come back, but still not when he's way past his powers. When he's on the back of one disappointing season out of 4 at Leicester, 3.5 at Leicester, you've got and 2 extremely successful ones, and an FA Cup, and then you've got Kieran Tierney coming back this summer. As he's at 27 years old, approaching his 28th before the end of the year. I mean, the peak of his powers he's entering into. You've got Jota coming back to the club at 25 years old, only 18 months after he left. With his peak years all signed up under a Celtic contract because he signed a 5.5-year deal. These aren't the comeback stories that are going to be underwhelming because has he still got it? This is gonna. These are comeback signings, mate, with substance. Rodgers, Tierney, Jota so far, and I think, as I say, the one thing about these, because they're so still capable, they're more than capable. They're not maybe playing from memory or playing on, their brilliant sort of reputations from previous years. These guys are very much in the present, and I think Jota's comeback has almost put more of an aura around him in a way, and I think he's fulfilling it. He looks more arrogant on the ball now than he did in his first spell, unless I'm just forgetting. I know he had all the flicks and tricks, but there's just something about him. There's a swagger to him that I think he's like, is this some sort of King Has Returned story? Give me the fucking crown. And I love players like that because off the field, you know exactly what he's like. He's a humble, decent bloke. But on the pitch, I don't care what your personality becomes as long as a winning one. And I think he's took on the role of the swagger jagger of the team. He has took on the role of, I'll be your poster boy. I'll be the icon. I'm the best fucking player in the country. And when he takes the ball in already since I've seen him, and every Celtic game so far that he's played, the 3 games, he just looks a bit more gallus than I think he was before. And I think sometimes the wee narrative in the background of Jota returns home after terrible 18 months, you've got all these fawning fans, and he's like, oh, I'll live up to that bill. Don't worry about me. That finish today sums it all up.
Well, see, I think he's just picked up at the absolute peak of where he was before he left. And I was a little bit apprehensive about him coming back because you're obviously thinking, I didn't really follow anything that happened after he left because I don't, once players leave Celtic, I really don't give a fuck. And
what about Greg Taylor's 6-year service? You'll surely follow him.
No. Fuck Greg Taylor.
6 years, Bhoycie. I need to follow Greg Taylor's career at Montrose and all that after. Shut up.
Listen, don't be a smart arse. I'm Kyogo's biggest fan, but see from the day, see from that European night that we done the post match, and I said, "Holy shit, looks like Kyogo's away." I haven't thought about that guy once. And I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck if he's joined a team that the manager's just left. I don't give a fuck if he never plays for Japan again. I don't give a fuck if he never plays for Rennes. I honestly don't care. And I was the same with Jota. And I sat on this show one time and said, I don't give a shit about Jota. Jota will never be back at Celtic. He's gone from my memory. I couldn't believe he was coming back. And I'm delighted that he did. But I was apprehensive that he wouldn't come back as the same Jota that we remembered. But from what we've seen, and I still think I'll say it's the same as the Jeffrey Sloop scenario. I think Jota.
Could you just repeat that again, please, and say it 3 times in a row really fast?
Jeffrey Wang. Jeffrey Wang. Jeffrey Wang. Jeffrey Wang.
Sloop scenario.
Jeffrey Sloop. It is a hard name to say.
The same. I'm
trying to remember what my dad was calling him the other night. My dad was at the game today, actually. My dad was over with his best mate, and they're both over 75s, and they were travelling away today to the match. So I was delighted they got a good result. But I can't remember what he called Sloop during the week, but it was something absolutely fucking nothing like Sloop. But it is quite hard to say. But
Jeffrey's a better name, mate. In that sense, Jeffrey's a shite name.
Just go for
Jezza. Just Jezza.
What did you ask me before that?
Oh, fuck knows.
No, what did you ask me? Right enough, because it was a good point. Jota. Yes, you're asking me about Jota. And then I was saying to you, I think the same as Jeffrey Schlupp. I think Jota is about 30% off peak fitness right now. So what we're seeing right now is just a guy running on fumes, running on adrenaline, not able to do 90 minutes, not able to do himself justice, but he's just landed back, and all that adrenaline, that relief of being back to somewhere where he's loved, that's allowing him to come back right at what I think was the peak of his powers, was that season where he's scoring the goal against Rangers and he's involved in everything. I think he's just slotted back into that, but I also now think there's an upside of 25-30%, which we maybe won't see till April, May of this year, and then going into next year. But this is a signing that I never, ever thought we would see again. I never thought we would get a player of that quality. The Tierney one, you always felt the emotional tie. You would see it at some time. I didn't think we'd see it at 27. I thought we'd see it at 31, 32. But to be fair to Kieran himself, he did say if he came back, he wanted to come back when he would still have something to offer, and he's got his best years to offer. So whilst these two signings, I've seen narrative where the guys are going on about how these are not imaginative signings and they're not being scouted. These are two massive signings for Celtic Football Club. We wouldn't have got these two players without the emotional tie that both of them had. Tierney from being a young lad brought up, dyed-in-the-wool Celtic fan, and Jota from being a lad who came over here and found a home and found a place that he loved and a place that loved him. So he's a wee bit off. My thoughts going into midweek, I think we'll start with Kuhn, Maeda and Jota as the three. I think we'll really go for it with the pace and imagination up front. But I still think we won't see the best of Jota till close to the end of the season. But see where he's come back at Bhoycie. See that getting that goal in that first appearance. And we talked about this on the P.M.P. Dyson Maeda has been absolutely ruthless with everything that has fell in front of him over the last 3 or 4 matches. The only time he has passed up a chance for him to score was when he had a chance to square it to Jota to score. And I genuinely believe he had the mindset and the composure to think this isn't about me.
I remember you saying that before.
If I get him a goal now, I honestly think Maeda's in that position. Terry looks slipped. I honestly think Maeda is now in a position where he can choose what he does. And I think he chose to do the better thing for the greater good of the club by getting Jota on the score sheet and getting him back in the swing of things. I genuinely think Maeda made that decision because see everything else around the last 6 weeks. Maeda in that position goes and just puts the ball in the net himself and scores because that's where he's at now. He's now in 100% confidence mode where every time I get a sniff, I'm going to score. I think he had the presence of mind to get Jota on the score sheet, get him back into the swing of things, get him to a position where he's already at peak Jota last time with another 30% to come on top.
No, it's probably true as well, which is a terrifying thought if you're not a Celtic fan, and a brilliant one if you are, because I think, as I say, I just think there's a fairy tale side to that, or a Hollywood story, if you like, with two guys coming back, but not, to see if they've still got it. Two guys coming back for their prime years to Celtic that were
already... when I was a kid, sorry to cut across, you see when I was a kid...
you're all right, mate, you've done it all right at school.
I've done it for 3 years. Nicholas came back. Nicholas came back on a Zimmer frame, and Frank McAfee, who was my favourite Celt at that time, he came back. They were done. They were finished. They were fucking gone. They were done down south. They had nothing else to get. Yeah. They couldn't play down there. These are guys. Kieran Tierney is coming back at his absolute peak at 27. Jota's coming back 2 years before his peak, if you believe the peak's at 27. These aren't just fucking jobs for the boys coming back, giving them a wee contract to come back for a retirement fund. these boys are they're absolute fucking peak coming back. So whilst you think they're not imaginative, they're not fucking, the scouts haven't been out and found these two lads. These boys are coming back at the absolute peak of their powers, and we won't see it this season, but we'll see it next season.
Well, you never know, mate. But I already think with Joyce, he's not struggled to the comeback anyway. Also, third goal today, Terry. I don't want to go too long about loads of aspects of the game, unless there's anything else you're desperately feeling that you want to talk about during the 90 minutes today. But
there is.
Of course there is. It was a rhetorical question. But when it comes to the finish by Adamida, I want to talk about that because that's the second time he scored one like that. That looked initially like he's just put the laces through it into the top bins. Then you see the camera angle change. Side foot, curl, but on the half volley. It's fucking a stupidly good finish, that for Adamida. I mean, anyone who would try that sort of technique to get that whip, that pace and power on it as well, but using the inside of your foot and the ball's in the air at the time, it's just a wonderful, wonderful strike. And a reminder with Ida, I think that, you know, he's technically a better footballer than he gets a hell of a lot of credit for, I think. And that should be a wee reminder. You look at that and go try that out your back garden with a fucking a float-away football, and you won't be able to do it. Let alone at Celtic Park, edge of the box. You know, it was a fucking amazing. It was one of those goals. I don't like being all cliche that, but it got better from every angle you've seen it at. See, once I seen like the third one that was from behind the goal, and I realised like what part of the boot he's used to hit it, I thought, fucking hell, man. That's a shambles of a strike. I mean, I'm sure, Terry, obviously, you know, if McGregor massaged the first one in, I mean, have you got any weird and wonderful words for this? You know what I mean?
No, the reason I was delighted about it, right? So at a wee bet builder, I always do a bet builder in the Celtic game, right? But listen, today's was Vico Saveljic from Dundee United to get a yellow card. Every time I've seen this player, he's got a fucking yellow card. So he was the first Dundee United player to get. He's a midfielder.
Oh, big Vico! It's Vico playing. Oh, he always gets it booking, honestly, Bhoycie. When the fuck have you watched him?
He just goes about kicking the fuck out of the table. So that was a certainty. Celtic -2, so I needed a 3-goal victory. Adamida, cheers. A goal in both halves. That was done early. Adamida anytime. So for 15 quid, I got nearly 200. So I was absolutely delighted with that Adamida goal because that just seals the deal for everyone. But do you want to hear the hard luck story? Because see, last weekend, there was a team that won a match.
It's me dealing with you today.
Wait to hear this. There was a team that won a match last weekend, and they were called Queen's Park. And I done a wee bet today. Yeah. I done a wee bet today, and I thought, fucking hell, that Queen's Park team, they got a great result last week against an SPL team. I'll stick them into my accumulator. So I done my accumulator. Everything else won. Queen's Park back down. Well, probably at a more difficult level today than they were last week because they were playing Hamilton Accies today, and last week they were playing that new club that were formed about 12 years ago. And lo and behold, Queen's Park get fucking beat. That cost me, well, it didn't cost me. It cost me a tenner, but I would have won $2,000. So Queen's Park losing to Hamilton Accies stopped me winning $2,000. But do you know what? I'm fucking just happy enough because I wouldn't even have looked at them if they haven't won the week before.
Should we dip our toes into that conversation? I just thoughts on last weekend, the weekend that was, and
obviously how crazy is that though, Bhoycie, that they go to Ibrox?
I'm going to start calming my. See every sentence I say. I'm going to start calming it into 3 words so I can finish one. Is that all right? No, on you go. I'll wait till you take on it.
You go.
Right, cool. Right, so what I was saying was, in terms of the domestic storyline that's going on, I wanted to get your thoughts on where you're at with. That's Rangers effectively out of every domestic competition this season. I think they've punched above their weight in Europe, and I know folk don't like hearing it and giving them any praise, and it's a diddy competition. I think finishing top 8 in the Europa League is heavy decent. And by the way, helps our coefficient tally. And they're always good for that.
Absolutely agree. 100%.
they always work their balls off. They work their balls off to help our coefficient tally for their Champions League efforts. So good on Rangers topping up our points tally in the coefficient table so we can get automatic group stage football back. But being out of every domestic competition, and in the manner of that, I mean, at home to Queen's Park, who, as you rightfully say, got beat today, I look at that and go, they're right now in such a state of flux that they've got to back a manager, right, that they don't want, but they can't keep just rinsing, repeating, and sacking a manager when they realise the league's over, having a good 3 months up to the end of the season, backing him, and then falling away by Christmas, sacking the next one. But I wonder if they're doing what they should have done with Gio. They just kept him in situ when he's excelling in Europe with the Europa League final and a qualification for the Champions League, beating away in Belgium. They got beat 2-0, took them home. I think they beat them 3-0. Then got over PSV over 2 legs. Then he got 0 to spend, out by Christmas. I just wonder if they're doing what they should have done with him and they've realised, but they're doing it maybe with the wrong guy. And I think Clement comes over he comes over all right, mate. Do you know what I mean? That guy is clearly managing a downscale there that is unbelievable, and they've left him hung out to dry. He can deal with it. We'll pay you 50 grand a week to be the scapegoat. He's going. Can't get a guy for Dundee in January who's worth, I think it was 400 grand. Dundee wanted, the Rangers couldn't afford it. So he's up against it big time. But all he's done a lot of the time is speak about, yes, it's excuses for his shite results. But I think he's trying to realise expectations, saying, we cannot spend money. Where do you think, when you look at the optics this season, how far and away Celtic are in the league table, the fact that we are the fact that we are the League Cup champions, having beaten them in the final on penalties, which is a killer blow for any team if you're on the wrong side of it. And now the Scottish Cup, it's not a free run at it because we've still got opponents to play, but they can't do anything about it now. And again, they're out of that said competition. Do you think there's going to be a realisation soon, Terry, in the domestic sense that Rangers will win the odd cup? I still think Rangers will have the odd anomaly season where they win the league. But this overall shift in balance that they're hoping to have, or levelling up even, or even getting on the coattails, I think that's what I think you see Clement trying to explain to people, going, we might beat them 3-0 in January. These will be just random results that occur. We cannot keep up pace with a team that is light years ahead of us, and there has to be patience in getting there. But they'll never get that. Rangers fans will never get it. Which you can understand to a point. But I think the dawning of reality has got to be getting closer for them, or at least, something they're ignoring, but it's becoming a wee bit more in their mind's eye. Celtic's a juggernaut compared to the rivals in this country, Terry. I think this season's been really, really evident of that. When you actually dress it all up and go, you're having a great season in Europe, but you're nowhere near us domestically. So what does that tell you? Even when you think you're doing okay, you're still so far away from Celtic, and you'll have a 3-0 DVD to celebrate the end of the season in domestic terms. That's it. It's a big gulf, mate.
You see, this is a massive moment in history, and it's referred to by some people as the Espanolism in Glasgow. So it's the same as the Barcelona-Espanyol rivalry, where they're both in the same city, but one is competing in Europe and one of the biggest names and brands in Europe, and the other one's just a team that happens to play in the same city. And I just want to point out as well, because I know you've made reference to it there, and I know you weren't having a dig or anything, but I've actually had quite a few personal messages where people have messaged me and said, stop talking over Bhoycie, you're ignorant, you're rude, you're all this. Sometimes on the stream, you think the other person has finished speaking.
I've got messaged you saying that.
No, you haven't. No, other people have. Sometimes you think the other person's finished, and then you go to jump in, and then they come back with something else, and then it comes across as if you're an absolute dickhead talking over them.
It's funny that, because it's only when you're pissed.
No. I do apologize. I don't mean it. I'm not a rude bastard. But sometimes the other thing is, sometimes something comes in my head, but because I'm getting really old, I think if I don't interrupt now and say this, I'll forget about it.
I'll lose it.
So I do apologize to anybody that thinks I'm rude as fuck and talks over Bhoycie. The thing about it is, everybody takes your side. They're all fucking fans of yours, and they're all against me.
I love that. And by the way, they're absolutely right.
See my thoughts about this season and the Rangers thing, right? I'm going to give you my take on it. See that 3-0 victory where Rangers absolutely beat us off the park in January. I think that won us the treble. I think Rangers beating us won us the treble. Because if we'd won that match, he was gone. No matter how much it cost them, no matter what money they don't have, if we'd beat them that match, he was gone. The fact he stayed, guaranteed we won the league. We'd already won the League Cup. And we've now seen them go out to Queen's Park. So we might not win the treble. We might not. I'm not taking that for granted. Trebles aren't easy to win. We might not win it, but we're very, very serious favourites to win the treble again. And if they hadn't beat us in that game, or even if they'd drawn, or even if they'd lost 3-3 and played really well, he probably would have stayed on. See if we'd gone and beat them convincingly in that match, he would have been gone. And the season might have turned out differently. So in a strange, ironic kind of way, us losing that game so convincingly has put us in a position where we're very, very odds-on favourites to win the treble. I don't think Clement is a bad manager. I think the record in Europe shows enough that he knows how to set up a team when it's an even game or they're second favourites slightly. He can set up a team to get the job done. I think his problem comes when he's a massive favourite to get the job done, and he has to set up a team where you've got to go and beat a block of 5 and 5, as in 5 defensive midfielders and 5 defenders. I think that's the bit that he struggles in, and that's where they've dropped points. That's where they've dropped points domestically. So I don't think he's a bad manager. But I don't think he's the right manager for Rangers for what they need to do, where 9 games out of 10, they've got to break down 2 banks of 5. And then in the European games, they've got to go in as second favourites and grind out a result. I think if it was only European games, he can get the job done. But I think he can say the same of Van Bronckhorst. Hence, they got to a final under him. But they lost the points in the games where you've got 70 and 80% possession and have to break a team down. The thing that really gets me about the Rangers support is this clamour for bringing back the recently sacked Steven Gerrard from Saudi, because they think the absolute solution to all their problems is to bring back this guy, and they cannot see that this guy was a total fraud. He was a bigger fraud than Mickey Beale. You knew Mickey Beale was a fraud, but because Gerrard got that COVID season where not only in Scotland, but across Europe, all types of freak results happened, where teams won things, where they are historical bottlers that couldn't win things with fans in the stadiums. Gerrard got it over the line after 3 seasons where he done nothing and they wanted him out. He got that crazy season over the line. Everybody wants him back. And do you know what, Bhoycie? Part of me wants him back. Part of me wants him back to put this fucking myth to bed that he is the fucking saviour of Rangers Football Club. If he comes back, Brendan Rodgers will rinse him. And do you know what?
That's true.
We're talking about Brendan walking away after 3 years.
I know what you're going to say.
If Gerrard comes back this summer and he signs a 3-year deal at Rangers, Brendan will fucking stay on.
You've just motivated me.
Brendan's ego, Brendan Rodgers, he's at a stage in his life, right? He's probably not chasing the things that he was chasing when he was 35, 40.
He's alluded to that, hasn't he?
He still has a fucking desire to fucking show people he's boss. And
many battles, mate. Many battles are huge. Yep.
I honestly think if Steven Gerrard comes back this summer, I think Brendan signs a new deal and he goes, I ain't going to show this fucking dickhead who's boss.
I've said it before on here, and it's not because I also happen to agree with the theory, but my theory genuinely is that Rodgers, a lot of the appeal for him coming back to Celtic was, I can't believe this Postecoglou can work his ticket and not be a rat when I'm a rat when I just got presented an offer and had to go. I'm better than him, by the way. And it's like, what are you? Oh, look at everyone fun. And I think Rodgers is a huge part of what you're saying there that rings true. I think initially he wanted to come back and mend it with the supporters, yes. But I think an added tickle to his tummy was, by the way, they think Ange's better than you. Do you know that? And he's actually is a rat. And he's like, oh, fuck this. I think there's a bit of that. And so true as well. He'll be all over the fact that there was a myth that went around that, he fled when Gerrard beat him 1-0 and then that was his last derby and his first spell and all this shit. And of course, then there's Gerrard was his captain at Liverpool, did the slip that cost him a league title. And of course, Gerrard's known for being a bit egotistical, to say the least, mate. He thinks he is the nuts. And you know what? He had some career, to be fair. But give me the Gucci belt, the Gucci belt over caps anyway, any day. And we will see. I think you're right. I think that sort of thing would stimulate an argument, Terry, for Rodgers to return, Rodgers to re-sign.
Bhoycie, I don't think the Celtic.
Did you just have your hand up there to speak?
Yes, I did it because I'm totally fucking. I'm conscious now. I'm conscious, and I don't want to talk over you. I want permission to speak. I don't, and you'll agree with this. I don't think the powers within Celtic Park, I think they'll be happy enough for Rodgers to go after the 3 years. I don't think they've done enough to support him for him to want to stay because of the backing he's been given. But see if Stevie G comes back and fucking gives it the old spiel, I think that would be enough in itself for Rodgers to go, do you know what? I'm going to fucking show this dickhead here. So in a strange way,
yeah,
the Rangers fans getting what they believe is the fucking best thing for them could actually be the best thing for us, because I don't rate Gerrard as a manager. I think he just fell lucky in that crazy season where crazy things happened, and nothing else he's done in his managerial career holds any credence whatsoever. And I think the powers that be within Celtic Park would like to have a manager a bit more like Ronnie Delia or somebody or a John Kennedy, where they've got total control. They don't have somebody that bites back. They've got somebody that just
100%
their game.
100%
if Brendan was thinking of walking away after 3 years, and all of a sudden your man rocks up in Glasgow giving it fucking large, I think that would get a reaction that would actually suit us.
Yeah, I agree with you, pal. I think that's contract extension worthy. Just oh fuck that, I'm staying as well.
Dial me in. Brendan Rodgers is here for 10 in a row.
The egos have landed. Indeed, that would be. Oh, of course. I think you're right. These wee battles matter in football as well, though. They do matter. I think you're right. Once you become with so many millions in a bank like Rodgers will have anyway, and once you've fulfilled like ambitions, like he thought Liverpool, then Celtic, and he's on this upward trajectory still in his career. He probably now can sit back and go, it's not been bad, has it? Second place in Liverpool. I've done the Premier League again with Leicester, 2 fifth places. I'm in my second spell at Celtic. I'm in my 50s now. He's more reflective. Not everything's going to be, as you said, in your late 30s, as ambitiously driven or driven by ambition as much. It'll be little wins now. Do you know what I mean? That'll matter. Like sort of, yeah, it's great I get paid well for it, but it's not about money anymore. It'll be what's this you're doing?
I'm gonna start this Ukrainian stuff here, boys. I'm gonna light this up. This looks good. I'm looking forward to this.
Aye. Well, we probably paid for it. Just a little political joke there, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about that. Ignore me. But yeah, Rodgers, Gerrard, we will see what happens. Terry, what else you want to talk about, mate, before we go? You'll have something.
No, not an awful lot else. Probably just about your your attitude over the last couple of weeks, like not turning up for shows and stuff. Like at the end of the day, I'm a married man with kids and stuff, and I make a lot of sacrifices to try and be here for you and do the rest. But you don't help yourself. You just go AWOL like on a Monday, and you don't.
When did I go AWOL?
Again to a Friday, no. I'm only joking.
I give you notice the 2 P.M.Ps I couldn't do.
I'm only joking. I'm only messing about. No, fucking hell. You're at a stage in life where I used to be the same as you, just fucking go out and do whatever you want.
You're probably trying
to hear Rodgers has just appeared on Sky Sports News. But
I thought you were going to say in your man cave.
He's now been replaced by a squirrel running on at fucking Real Madrid or something. No, I think this is the first midweek we haven't had a game for a long, long time. So that's us to next weekend. So I'll see you next weekend. Look forward to it. No, fuck, we've got during the week with Tuesday. What am I talking about?
Yeah, Bayern Munich.
What am I talking? See, I've already written that off. You see, so we're Tuesday night. No, let's do that. Do you know what? Is good.
It the week after we've not got a game?
It's the week after we've not got a game.
Yeah.
I'm already fast forward.
Needed that though.
So we're Tuesday night. Everything's against us, but do you know what? We're still in with a fighting chance. At the end of the day, it was always going to be an uphill struggle. All I wanted to do over the 2 games was to come out of that thinking the team have done their best. I'm proud of them. Happy enough. After the first leg, I'm not quite there because I am proud. I'm proud of the last half hour. And I'm happy that we're still very, very loosely in the tie. But I am very disappointed with the man of the 2 goals because I don't care if you're Celtic. I don't care if you're Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
I don't care if you're fucking Queen's Park or Peterhead. Those 2 goals that we conceded were absolute Bobby Basic defending.
Bobby Basic
opportunities. Like, do you know what I mean? If your right winger
is Bobby Basic Johnny Backup's brother.
If your right winger is if your left, what is he? He's right winger, left footed. If your right winger is left footed and he cuts inside 99.9 times and you show him inside, then that's on you, left back. That's your fucking problem. If you've got one of the most lethal strikers in world football and you leave him absolutely free at the back post twice after you've already had a warning, you've left him a second time. That's very annoying. That's aggravating for me. And I'm conflicted because I know we're up against it. But when I look at what actually happened for those 2 goals, I'm thinking, fucking hell, anybody basic could have defended those. So it's difficult, but you never know. Bhoycie, miracles happen. And Tuesday night, we could be sitting here and we could be in the fucking next round. It's unlikely, very, very unlikely. But at the end of the day,
there's only one Bobby Basic. One Johnny Backup. There's one Johnny Backup.
Nah, right. End the stream. I've had enough. I've had too much abuse tonight. I'm gone.
No, you're all right, mate. You've done great. We're really proud of you. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for the attending, and thanks for the banter. And stay tuned to Bhoycie Bus TikTok.
Cheers. Thank you, everybody.
See you all later.